All right. This is epic. The scrunched epic rock talks. The scrunched rock talk. People that don't know us, my name is Kyle.
I'm Josh, that drummer guy.
And we're in the Twin Cities area now, and we've done a little podcast, or a big podcast, for like a year. We're just trying to figure out how to do it. But we call it Epic Rock Talk because it's not short. The origin is like we both we'd see each other at shows, and we knew each other from a couple of message boards, and we thought we had these long conversations about music. Well, why don't we share some of them with other people? And so we thought, well, let's just try it and see it. So, and we've done the audio part of it sort of in varied quality for like a year, about 4 or 5 times. But now we're thinking, let's see what happens if we put it on video. I'm a little not freaked, but a little slightly paranoid about putting myself on YouTube like this. But you know what? We can always disable comments.
That's true.
Anyway, so we love progressive rock, metal, technical death metal, everything else under the sun that's good. We have strong opinions about it, but we're both very open-minded about music.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
And, for example, we're just, for this, the video part of this podcast, we're on Memorial Day 2012 here, we're going to talk about, among other things, this album from this band called Obliviscaris that just came out a few weeks ago.
If we had a camera guy, you'd be zooming in on the album cover right now.
Yes. I'll zoom in. But and I actually have a physical copy because I pre-ordered this a long time ago.
And I ordered mine on Bandcamp, so
yes.
I'm still supporting the band either way.
But this band, their album, the first week it came out, was the #1 record on the charts for RateYourMusic.com a few weeks ago. And we've been waiting for it for a long time. You and me, most people probably that don't know them. A lot of people that have found out about them, they had an EP a couple years ago called Aurora Vale.
Which had 3 of the songs that are on the album, just re-recorded for the new album.
The back of the album. I even have a t-shirt down in my car, but that came with my pre-order. I think it just was like something they had available.
Right.
Although it doesn't have this specific artwork, but anyway, Obliviscaris are this band from Australia that feature violin and,
as you can hear right now.
Yes, they're a lot like Opeth, you could say, but they're also just very good at composing songs, I suppose, or in an Opeth tradition in a way.
Oh yeah, like I said on my radio show, it's like combining elements of like Opeth, Theater and Alcest, like combining all these different elements of like progressive metal and sometimes like a spacey post-rock or classical music with the violin, obviously. Just like it's a lot of people might think it'd be like a hodgepodge of metal, but they actually know how to construct it right, and it makes for some great music. That's the biggest reason why I think I'm a fan. I mean, there's other reasons why, but I think just the way that they compose these songs, on the demo, it was just obvious that they really knew how to write an extended piece, kind of like Opeth, with it not seeming long. And especially the violin. I guess I'm a sucker for extra like non-traditional rock instruments in rock music. So, but like, okay, this is the album. It's called Portal of I. The miracle about their guitarist Ben Beret, because he's from France and he went down under to record with them. That part alone was a big deal. Why it took so long to come out, and it finally did come out, because there was a chance they were just going to break up and it never would have come out. The greatest band that never was.
Yeah, we've seen that happen too many times. We can name drop a number of names we've done in previous podcasts. But that alone was a big deal of why it came out. Then the actual just quality of the music and the quality of the production. I mean, I think it's a 5-star record, or about 5 stars for me.
For me, it is my top album in 2012 so far.
Although I haven't completely become addicted. Now, why do you think it is? It's better than we said on previous Alcest and Woods of I Press and a bunch of others. Yeah,
those were my top albums. For Obliviscaris, I think it was that they lived up to all the expectations that I was hoping they were going to live up to. I mean, like the song that they released, I wouldn't say the single, but the song that they released for it, And Plague Flowers the Kaleidoscope. from the first listen of it, I was immediately hooked, and I wanted to hear anything that these guys could do. And then finally, when it got released on Bandcamp, and then throughout like, Amazon, iTunes, everywhere else where you can get it, every song just lives up to something I want to hear from the band, and it doesn't let me down.
I think that I agree with that, because a lot of times you'll have a new album from a band that we already know, like Ramona Falls, for example, where the first song that they give you to hear is just awesome. You're just like, wow, like, this is really good. I can't wait to hear the rest of the album. Or even just a band that's got like an EP. This is a classic case of a lot of times for my personal taste, the last 5-10 years, where you have a band that puts out an EP that's pretty impressive. So you kind of, I bookmark them, I earmark them as I can't wait till they put out a full-length record. And sometimes they actually live up to the hype that or the belief, the hope that I get and other people get. You see talk about them on the internet, on the blogs and everything else, the message boards. But sometimes they don't. And I think you're right. I think, I go back to the compositions on this record and the production, among other things. But those two are two of the biggest factors for me, why it's so impressive. Now, I don't know if it's going to be my album of the year. Right now, it's kind of slightly behind Pepe Deluxe, but I put that at 5 stars as well.
But it's like your top metal album.
Definitely best metal album, yeah, no question about that. And I don't listen to probably half as much metal as you do regularly. But I guess it's going to be a matter of, from now to the end of the year, whatever, historically a few years from now, how great of an album this is, where it's going to, how much I'm going to play it, how addictive it's going to be. That, to me, that's often the case. But the one record I did often think about when I heard this a couple times is, and I think it might be a little bit better in some ways, but maybe not as good in some ways, is there's a band called In Vain, who put out a debut record, actually, of sorts. It's sort of like a big collaborative project from Norway, I believe they're from, The Latter Rain. That record was this big, layered, dense, epic record, and it had a lot of different styles, but it was a journey, and it was an enjoyable journey. This record, to me, Portal of I, is a journey. It's an enjoyable journey, but it's also a journey. Because it is 70 minutes long.
And 7 songs.
And there's not really that many subtle spots. There's a few parts that are quieter.
Like right now.
But the dynamics, like some metal, like Maudlin of the Well, I'm wearing their t-shirt today. You can't probably see it. But Maudlin of the Well, they do a lot more with dynamics, but still do it with metal. I don't think there's a ton of dynamics on Portal of I, but
well, to me, I think it's kind of the opposite effect. They may not go from like metal soft in one song, but when they do the dynamics, you know they're there, and it adds that much more to it. The title, or the first track,
they fit where they are, I think.
The first track, Tapestry of the Starless Abstract, it just starts off brutal and heavy, and then it gets into this acoustic passage for a few minutes, and then it just goes in this exploding, mind-blowing ending that I just absolutely love. And, you don't need...
Well, their best moments are really, really good. That's the reason why I love it.
No, that's what I was about to get at. When the dynamics hit, it makes for the best parts of the album.
And that, for some people, even I'll say for myself, that is what you're really enjoying most about an album. And when you get to kind of get through it, and then you get that really just awesome climax. Yes, that's why we love this stuff. That's what the parts you listen to the whole album for. That's the kind of stuff you live for. You want more of that. You want every band to put out parts or sections in their songs that are like that.
Yeah, and most bands are only capable of that for one or two songs on an album at most.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it. But I will say that there's definitely other albums that have those sections I love, but don't necessarily work as well beginning to end as this album. I mean, it depends. There's some albums it does. I'd say, like Hotel Laughing Trees album from last year. There's all these different little sections I love. That's why I listen to it, because I can't wait to hear that section. Whether it be a guitar solo, in this case it'd be like some violin part that's so just kind of moving and emotional, sounds like, or the vocals, the mixture of clean vocals. Mm-hmm. Someone said that the singer sounded a little bit like Labrie. I can hear it a little bit, but James Labrie from Dream Theater.
It definitely has that prog metal clean vocals to it. And he's playing violin at the same time too, which is just phenomenal when you listen to what he's playing on the violin and singing over it.
The funny thing is, you mentioned that on Facebook, I believe it was today, that they posted or he posted, the singer and violinist, a clip when he was going to join the band from Tristania. They had a song where they featured violin.
Oh, yeah.
Although I'll say that I've never probably heard the specific Tristania song, and listening on YouTube did not help, but it was still a good song. But I mean, having never heard it, I'm like, all right, like this, but, you know, I don't know if I want to hear the compression emphasis. But I mean, I can see why, like, Tristania might be an influence on them. So, anyway, I mean, do you want to go into more specifics about it? But if this is your top album, I don't know what's going to take for something to beat it this year.
the only two that might come close is Devin Townsend's Epicloud and possibly the new James LaBrie album. Possibly.
That's right, he is coming out with a new album this year. Yeah,
I mean, if those two are anywhere close, I think those are the only two that are going to beat it for me. But
unless something comes out that's a surprise.
Yeah, unless there's like a sneak album that I don't know about. But otherwise, it is Portal of I by Obliviscaris.
2012. Now the question is, will Painted in Exile get their album out? You know, we don't even know. Because it's like, Painted in Exile are not the same style of band, but they were in a similar situation where they put out an EP and they don't have a record label, so... But we're really happy that Obliviscaris is getting popular. Some people don't like them, I know. On some of they're like sort of the band that the metal, I don't call them metal snobs, but just the people that definitely are very anti bandwagon. Mm-hmm. They're like, that band sucks. I'm really annoyed by everyone talking about this, even because it was when the demo was the surface. Mm-hmm. Everyone was obsessed with the demo. So
they have 20 fans. I hate them.
Yeah, I know, but will they become? I mean, they're getting bigger. The album's been out for a few weeks now. Will they? What's the future of Obliviscaris? They have a new drummer now. Are they going to come tour here like Carnival and Dead Letter Circus have because they're from Australia?
Just for me, even with my radio show, I won't rest until Obliviscaris does at least one U.S. tour. I will do everything I can to make that happen, even if it's just me constantly talking about him and hopefully getting someone's attention for U.S. booking.
Hopefully, I hope those people, like the guys that were with the Customs, that were like saying, you guys aren't Metallica, you guys aren't Megadeth, we can't give you money, we can't allow you to be give you another green card for the guitarist and stuff like that. You're not as big as that, and they're like, well, we could become that big, or we could become pretty close. What if they become really big, and they'll be sitting back saying, oh, we were actually right in this case. You know, our government, the U.S. government, needs to, like, follow suit from the Australian government.
Oh, very much so.
You know, but, it'll be interesting to see. The album came out. I think that they've had enough momentum where they're going to be around for a while. They're not going to just be one and done. But, we'll see.
And a lot of these songs are older songs. You know, like three of them were on the Aurora demo.
Right, Aurora Veil. So, they have new material coming, probably.
Yeah, so I can only imagine how good the new album could be. I mean, since these are just songs that they've been sitting on for a while.
Well, it's a matter of, you know, I always struggle with this with the group, because I'm one of these people that loves debut, for whatever reason, a lot of debut albums become my favorite albums.
Right.
How do you top that? How do you put out a record as good as this, and put out something that's going to be close to as good, if not better? You know, it's not that easy.
Oh, not at all.
And this was all, it's like the whole adage where you say you're a band, you form, you have your whole life, or your whole formation, at least beginning up to the point you released your debut album. Then you only have like a year or two or whatever to write and record your next album. You know, you have less time. So, we'll see. The thing is, are they going to become sort of iconic the way like Agalloch has become, and Opeth? Are they going to be sort of thought in that same breath, like they're the biggest metal band now from Australia? You know, maybe.
I would like to see it.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see, like, not like next year, but I'm saying like probably like 2014 or 2015.
Oh yeah.
Obliviscaris, yeah, their debut album took a while to come out, but then they became kind of a band that always toured, always was going to be around. They played big festivals, whatever.
And just from my stereotypical point of view, it would be nice to have a #1 metal band from Australia that doesn't exactly always rip off Tool.
Right, because there's a ton of bands that are metal or not, but whatever. The Tool, they love Tool down in Australia. Down under, they love their Tool. The other thing they definitely need to do is they need to get this album released in the U.S.
Yes, and more yes.
Which, you know, like Kimbra, which I have her albums here actually for this podcast that we're doing today. Her album just came out in the U.S. last week, but it came out last year, like Gortia in Australia, and it was a big deal to a lot of us when we first heard it last year. Hopefully it's reaching a lot of people this year, now that it's come out in the States.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, you know, if whatever, Century Media or one of the other larger distribution for metal labels will find a way to get this released in the U.S. and you'll see it at Best Buy, or you'll see it at least your mom and pop's, you know, record store. Maybe have it come out on vinyl too.
But well, it is out on iTunes and Amazon for the U.S.
Digitally, it is.
Yeah, digitally it's out in America, but
well, I guess that's
I would love it if it was like a big enough impact where it could be released on a CD format here.
I mean, how important is that? I guess that's the biggest. The thing with the Kimbras, I'll just say the Kimbra album, it's not. I don't think it's as good. I don't think a lot of people are going to think it's as good as the version that came out last year. Which, who knows? Obliviscaris puts out this album next year. They put out a couple extra songs. They take one out. I don't know. I don't know if they would do that. But I'm just saying, how big a deal is it? You can buy it digitally. You can probably import like I do. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not that big of a deal. I think some of the hardcore like audiophile types will want it on vinyl at least.
Yeah.
But
I think it'll take like the attention of like the booking agents and the labels and stuff like that. Like even to just get like the ball rolling for like touring, maybe even just outside Australia, maybe even like a European tour or something like that.
Right. Like Carnival, I think, has done pretty extensive touring in Australia, in Europe rather.
Yeah.
Logically, for whatever reason, this always seems to happen. The bands that are doing some kind of arty, proggy, whatever, do better. They have a larger fan base in Europe than they do in the U.S.
Well, not every band can be Nickelback in the United States.
I know, but it's just so. Yes.
For the record, I'm not saying
American music industry hates prog. I said it. They hate prog. They hate prog. They hate prog. That's all there is to it. That's the fundamental #1 reason.
And they used to love it too.
I know. Well, to an extent, they tried to have, like, you know, when you had Yes and Genesis, you had, you know, the equivalent of the response rather would be, you know, Kansas and Boston and Styx,
or the biggest prog song on FM radio, Tom Sawyer.
Right, but that's Canada. But I guess, okay, yeah, take all the American and say Rush is the biggest North American prog artist for commercial, like, music industry.
Yeah.
But still, it's just Europe loves arty, more like instrumental, more like whatever. America, we have to have the 3-minute single, and we have to have Image.
Boom, boom.
So that's why this thing's probably going to be bigger in Europe, even if it comes out in Europe and the U.S. than the U.S.
Or if you can get Roadrunner to have Opeth open for Obliviscaris for an American tour, that would be amazing.
Well, no, Obliviscaris open for Opeth.
Oh,
yes.
So that's what I meant.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That would be an obvious thing. Although, you know, you have King's X play Woodstock and nobody gives a shit. So, all right. So, if you check out Obliviscaris, we thank you. If you like Obliviscaris, we thank you even more. If you hate it, we still thank you for checking it out. We're not with the band. We're not representing the band, but we just
big fans.
We just believe in this stuff, and you know, thanks for checking out our video podcast out too. If this is going to be the one and only or a continuous thing, I don't know.
And Obliviscaris checks in the mail.